your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Comments here from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. If that quarterback didn't get his head down on his slide, it would have been targeting. We got so fortunate on that last drive. Dodged a bullet for sure.
I think we probably would have gotten hit with the penalty if we didn't miss him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think it was tough for those guys because he slid right at their feet. I mean, he really slid right at the last moment. He made it tough on those guys, but I still think they would have been hit with the penalty if they had made contact, but they missed. They went over the top of them. Like I said, if there was any contact with the head at all, it was just barely up top and maybe more with like in their stomach areas, and you're not going to get a targeting call for rubbing your belly on someone's face.
Yeah, you might get something else. I mean, might get like that's a little uncomfortable.
Like a slap, maybe.
Slap, yeah. Might get punched. You might get hit in the junk or something like that. Hey, get off my belly, man. The hit on Coy Aikens should have been targeting.
I wish they would have reviewed that one a little bit more. It felt like to me, A, he was out of bounds. The ball was clearly not caught. B, you launched. Okay. Mm-hmm. C, there was helmet to helmet. I was blown away that one was not at least looked at. So
Coach McGuire was asked about that in the post game, and he said that those things are looked at elsewhere. Not so if it doesn't get reviewed in the stadium, that somebody is looking at that for targeting. And he didn't have an opinion one way or the other of whether that should have been targeting because he hadn't seen the play yet.
Yeah, I thought for certain that it was, and I thought at the very least it should have been looked at.
Yeah.
Should have been looked at. If it happened in the middle of the field and the ball was not caught, it was past the receiver, it was clearly he didn't catch the ball, and that guy laid him out, I think it would have been called.
Yeah. He's and I don't know.
They can look at something without throwing a flag, right? They can say the previous play is under review for targeting.
Yeah, for targeting.
Without throwing a flag, so you're not having to pick one up.
That was my biggest beef of the whole thing. If you want to look it over and look at it for 3 minutes or 4 minutes, all these different angles, and tell me it's not, okay, I'll live with it.
Yeah.
I'll live with it. But the fact that they didn't even look with it really bothered me.
And I don't know what he was referring to here, and I was listening, so I'm pretty sure it's the way he said it. He goes, those plays are being reviewed at the Rock. So wherever, I guess at the network or at wherever these guys gather to look at plays. Aside
Alcatraz,
yeah, right.
That's where they call it the Rock.
Yeah, right. No,
so it's at Alcatraz.
Yeah, right. So they got a big instant replay review.
Or they do. Got a command center. They're not doing anything else there, right?
No.
Yeah, that's it. It's there.
Yeah. Or is it the Rock's house?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, that could be called the Rock too.
Yeah. He may actually live there. The Rock may live at the Rock.
That's a definite possibility.
As long as 28 stays healthy, we have a chance in rest of our games. Both of you guys replied to that comment.
I mean, 28 was healthy and played exceptional in this game, and you almost lost at home to a team that is a middle of the pack team, right? In the Big 12 at best. I mean, your defense has to play better if you're going to win at Arizona, if you're going to beat Colorado at home. I mean, whatever. Just go on and on and on. Your defense has to play better.
List the rest of the games.
And Barron has to play at a high level. If Barron is mediocre on Saturday, you probably lose.
Yeah. This comment, and you guys already alluded to it, at least you have, Jamie. Baron Morton had his best game of the year and was throwing the ball extremely accurate. Our receivers, not so much. That ball that he threw into double coverage to Josh Kelly, that thing, that was a bullet.
I can't remember which one you're talking about, but I thought he threw the ball really well. Yeah. His first pass of the game, underthrown, almost interception, should have been a touchdown. That led you to just a field goal. The Caleb Douglas drop was underthrown as well. He needs to put a little bit of air underneath that ball. Both of them, those two I'm talking about, and let the receiver run underneath him, and don't be short on that. Mm-hmm. But still, Caleb should have caught the second one. There's no question. He got there. He had two hands on the ball. He should have caught that one.
Yeah.
But beyond that, it didn't feel like he missed much.
Chuck and Jamie deserve some credit for jinxing the Cincinnati quarterback Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, we worked hard.
We did.
We did. Yeah.
We
was surprised that Coach didn't give you a game ball Saturday night.
How do you know that he didn't?
Okay, well, you would have told us.
That would have been the first thing out of your
You'd
mouth.
have been
during the
shirtless on
post-game show.
Facebook with the football in your hand.
You'd have been running through the Overton holding that football over your head.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
What a silly
Blue
question.
girls would have looked at you and went, wow, look at that guy.
You're right. I know the Rock is Rockefeller Plaza. I don't know if they have a command center set up there for the Big 12, for ESPN or the Big 12 or anything like that. But
I like our answers better anyway.
I do too. Cowboy Cody weighs in. He said, I agree. It was a battle to the end, and our team showed tremendous resilience. I was so proud of our team and the fight they showed. It took everything they had.
Yeah, I think you could say the same thing about Cincinnati. I think they showed tremendous resilience. It felt like, up 14 there, had grabbed control, and they got themselves right back into the game and gave themselves a chance to win it, really.
Man, I tell you, I was lamenting, as much as I called for a 2-minute warning in college football, I was like, oh my God, this thing's about ready to bite us in the old keister, because you have that pass that sets up, that makes it, it was a pass, and then they were going to have to call a timeout. I think it set up the punt because it was third and long. It was going to be third and long, and the 2-minute timeout comes up, and Cincinnati doesn't have to call its last timeout at that point in time. So then you punt, and the ball gets punted down to the 10-yard line, which proved to be pretty good for the Red Raiders, obviously. But man,
you stop that problem.
Get first
Convert
downs.
your third down.
Yeah, no, right. It was. I got it. It was 3rd and 12, and you had a short pass to Josh Kelly for no yards, and then that set up the 2-minute timeout. But I was just sitting there going, "Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh."
But
here we go.
That third down though,
Yeah.
And then they use their timeout before the 2-minute timeout, so to stop, so that you get the extra play.
Yeah.
And then you just keep handing the ball to 28, and that game is over.
I agree. What did you think?
You're not going to convert many 3rd and 12s. Really, it was 1st and 2nd down that were the problem there, and you're going backwards running the football
Right.
to 28.
Right.
Because everybody in the building, again, Tosh Brooks ran for big yards, and he was really good, and your offensive line opened up some holes, but you still cannot run the football when the other team knows you're going to run the football.
Yeah, it was 1st and 10 at the Cincinnati 45. He gains 3 yards, and then they do it again, and it's a 5-yard loss.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
It's the final Monday in September and the final day of September. And with this day in sports history on this 30th day of September is Jeff McGuire.
So it's the final September of September.
No.
Well, it's the final September of September. Tomorrow it's October now. It's
Is the world going to blow up today? It's not the final September. There'll be one next year.
Of September. If it being the last day of September.
Yeah.
1927.
I'm confused.
Yankee slugger Babe Ruth smacks his Major League Baseball record 60th home run off to Tom Zachary in the 8th inning of a Yankees 4-2 win over the Washington Senators at Yankee Stadium. 1945, Detroit's future Baseball Hall of Fame first baseman Hank Greenberg smacks an AL pennant-winning grand slam on the final day of the season as the Tigers beat the St. Louis Browns 6-3. That's the way to win a pennant.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, no doubt.
1972, Pittsburgh's right fielder Roberto Clemente doubles off of Mets' John Matlock to become the 11th Major League Baseball player to reach 3,000 hits as the Pirates beat New York 5-0.
That was John, Jon Matlock.
1984, California Angel Mike Witt pitches a perfecto over the Texas Rangers, 1-0.
What year?
84.
84. You know who Mike Witt would later be traded for?
Dave Winfield.
The guy whose birthday's coming up on Thursday.
1990.
You know how good he was with the Yankees? He was terrible.
He's terrible. It's terrible.
This was George just doing anything he could to get rid of Winfield.
Well, this may make you feel a little better, Jamie. 1997, New York Yankees Tim Raines, Derek Jeter, and Paul O'Neill are the first to hit 3 consecutive homers in postseason play, beating the Indians 8-6. Your boy got one, and you got a win in the playoffs. These are good things.
It's a good day.
And in 2006, Robert Johnson's third touchdown catch from Graham Harrell with 26 seconds left gives the Texas Tech Red Raiders a 31-27 win over Texas A&M.
It's surprising Graham Harrell getting canned yesterday by Purdue. I mean, they're not off to the best of starts, but you don't usually make coordinator changes in the middle of the season in college football.
And unless there's a big time philosophy issue going on with the head coach and the coordinator, and your offense is really stinking it up, and you got to blame it on someone, kind of a deal.
Sure. It's just unusual in college football.
Yeah. That game so frustrating because you give up. I mean, Tech should have dominated that game. You give a kickoff return for a touchdown. You're going in for a score, and you have the ball knocked out. Like, you have a receiver reaching for the end zone and have it knocked out of his hands. So you just kind of throw away 7 points there. And you should have had an easy, comfortable win. And then you got to pull it out with, an amazing, amazing pass from Harrell to Robert Johnson. But don't forget about Shannon Woods' block, man. That block picking up the blitzer on the Harrell's blind side, that play never happens without a great, great play by the always interesting Shannon Woods.
Yeah.
He had a fun little career here at Texas Tech. But a great, great play there.
Happy National Extra Virgin Olive Oil Day.
Extra virgin?
Extra virgin olive oil. It's like the first press of any olive when you're making olive oil, I think is how it's made.
The first press.
Well, yeah, that's how you make olive oil.
Okay, well.
They don't just give it, hey, here, have some. I mean, you've got to do some work for it.
I didn't know that you had to press olives to make olive oil.
Yeah.
Like grapes?
Kind of, but yeah, it's a different type of press, but yeah.
It's that part of that 1% knowledge that he just walks around with. It's just, man, it's just
well,
I guess it makes sense, right?
It makes sense. Right? When you say it, it makes sense. It's just, if you would have asked me how do they make olive oil, I would have said,
They call Popeye.
Right. I got no idea.
I would have guessed it was more squeezed, like an orange, than pressed. Or are those the same things? I'm just using different words. Or like lemons are more squeezed.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on how you squeeze your orange. Like, there's juicing the orange, like with the little blade thingy.
Yeah.
You're not doing that with an olive, but you would do that with an orange. I would call both of those juicing.
Yeah, but then you don't do that with a grape either.
Yeah.
You don't have. Yeah, that makes sense because it's a little smaller little deal.
It's also National Chewing Gum Day.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
How those two go together, I have no clue. Happy birthday, T-Pain, 40. Fran Drescher, 67. Barry Williams is 70. And Pac-Man Jones is 41. And on this day in 1949, one of my favorite events in history comes to a close. After 15 months of more than 250,000 flights, the Berlin airlift officially comes to an end. The airlift was one of the greatest logistical feats in modern history and was once the crucial events of the early Cold War. During the 15-month span, 277,264 aircraft landed in West Berlin, bringing over 2 million tons of supplies. The last plane, an American C-54, which is basically like a DC-3, landed in Berlin and unloaded over 2 tons of coal, proving that bombers don't have to just drop bombs. They can bring life back, too. That's why I like it. And that is this day in sports history.
You know that signal. It's time for your lucky local winning word here this morning. Double T 97.3 in the home zone have teamed up. They're making your house a home over there at 50th and Indiana to give away a total of $10,000 to lucky local listeners just like you. At this time, 8:45 and 4:45 in the afternoon. All you have to do is, after I give you the lucky word, go to doublet973.com, enter it for your chance to win cash every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. The more times you do, the more chances you have to win. This is a local contest, so the money is given away to folks in town just like you. We'll have a final giveaway of $2,500 at 2 Docks on Thursday, December the 5th. We're going to shift now to the NFL, Jamie, for a word.
Awesome.
This team is the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons is your lucky local winning word at 6:52 this morning. Falcons, Falcons. Falcons will have another secret local lucky winning word at 8:45 this morning. It's all brought to you by the Home Zone, making your house a home, and Double T 97.3.
I mean, couldn't it also be Military Academy?
Could.
Isn't Air Force the Falcons?
They are, yeah. I just chose to make it.
I know they have one. I don't know if their
Atlanta
actual nickname
Falcons.
is the Falcons or not.
Yeah, they do.
Cool bird.
Cool.
It's a cool. They have it.
It
He
is.
flies
Yeah,
across
it
the
is.
stadium. It's a cool bird.
Right, yeah. The Falcons. Let's see. I'm trying to think what they did yesterday. I think they lost yesterday. They did. They won. They beat the Saints 26-24 at home. Okay. We'll have a high school fan zone on the air tonight. Coaches from Coronado and Estacado didn't go their way last week. Again, Coronado lost to Tascosa 29-16 last Friday night, and Estacado lost on Thursday last week. So, not happy totals for them. So that's a little disappointing. But you'll have Coronado and Monterey play this week. So that'll be a big game over at Lowry Field. We'll have both broadcasts for you. The kick is at 7:00 on Friday night. So that's a big crosstown rivalry.
Absolutely.
I hope it's a good game. I hope it's a big game for them, for both those teams, and see what happens. As far as Estacado, they lost at Randall last Thursday, 50-26. Friendship was a winner on Friday night, 35-34 over Midland Christian.
That
Yeah.
is skin of their teeth.
Skin of their teeth.
I think I had to stop a 2-point conversion there at the end, right?
Yeah. So good for them. Cooper was a winner last Thursday over Plainview, but you already knew that, 30-17. And Idalou lost for the first time, but Liberty won for the first time.
Yeah.
So good for
Congrats
Liberty.
to Liberty.
Yep. They beat Fort Stockton 30-28 to move their record
And
to.
I think they were undefeated, Fort Stockton.
Okay.
Yeah.
Certainly, Idalou was undefeated before they lost at Shallowater, 24-20. So, congrats to the Mustangs. Just before 7, we'll talk more Tech football.
Your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz for taking your reaction to the ball game on Saturday. The Red Raiders win at 44-41. Cincinnati misses a field goal at the end. And Texas Tech gets the victory, goes to 4-1, 2-0 on the season. That was an entertaining game, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was an entertaining game.
I mean, your team won, and
Yeah.
I mean, it was close. And
Everybody was happy.
You didn't play terrible. You didn't. I mean,
Smiles.
they didn't just give it to you.
Yeah.
No, but they could have.
Hey,
That would have been okay too.
Well, they missed 2 field goals.
yeah. At the ball game Saturday, I meet a number of people. That
We've heard that rumor.
Morning Drive listeners, usually these are people that are warm and friendly. But Jamie, I met a guy named Bubba on Saturday,
Okay.
and he said that you always tell him that I drive him crazy. He said he always tells you that I drive him crazy.
Okay.
You know who Bubba is?
I do.
He said you would laugh. I told him I was going to say to you that really what it is that you drive him crazy, but you just tell him. He just tells you that I drive him crazy.
I'm so confused who's crazy right now. I think I've gone crazy just with this story.
Yeah.
Bubba told Chuck that he always tells you that Chuck drives
That's
him
him crazy.
Right.
Yeah, that is accurate.
That's what happened.
Right.
Okay, so that's what happened.
But not really. He says he says it's really he enjoys listening to.
I think he does enjoy us. I think he enjoys
listening.
our craziness.
He seemed like a nice fella.
He's a good dude.
He's a good
I'm
dude.
a big fan.
Yeah, and he's a big baseball guy, right?
He's a former Red Raider pitcher.
Former Red Raider pitcher. What's his real name?
I think that's his name.
It's just Bubba?
Yeah.
Bubba. Okay,
Yeah.
Bubba.
Yeah.
Anyway, Bubba says hey. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I know you think I just seek this kind of stuff out, but
I'm
it really
shocked that Bubba didn't tell me of this interaction.
He said you would laugh. He said you would laugh.
shocked.
He said you would laugh.
You know what, Chuck? He's a salesman.
Okay.
I think Bubba has a little Chuck Heinz in him.
Good. Good.
Yeah, he's got a little Jamie Lent in him too, in that he's a baseball nerd.
Yeah. I also after the game, I talked to Taj Brooks' dad after the ball game.
Okay.
I saw him. He looks just like him. I mean, Taj looks just like his dad.
When he's in having a conversation with you and Taj is, walking out of the facility, does he go, "Oh, sorry, Chuck, Taj time"?
No, but they did have their entourage did have a big Taj times.
Can't talk anymore, Chuck. Sorry, Taj time.
Taj time. Yeah. And I was talking to him. I was like, "Look, I know you guys already know this, but where I was sitting, we weren't in our normal seats on Saturday. We were." Did
you also tell him that the running back was out of bounds for Arizona State?
I did not.
Okay.
I did not.
I did have a question for you.
I did tell Coach McGuire that I told you that I said that, but it turned out that it was not right.
Did you talk with Coach McGuire after the game again?
Yeah, right. I held the elevator for him. I heard him coming down the hall, so I just held the elevator for him.
Doesn't he have security personnel?
He does. He's got 2 Texas Rangers there, but I was just being nice, Jamie.
We're going to have to introduce those Rangers to who Chuck is, and that will solve that problem.
Yeah. They know.
So they
know who I am.
I was wanting to know. Mm-hmm. I think it's the beginning of the fourth quarter, and forgive me for not knowing. Okay. Are you swag surfing too?
There's times when we have, yeah.
You lock arms and do swag surfing?
Well, usually it's just, there's nobody to my left in my normal seats. So it's just me and the lucky lady usually. So we have swag surfed, the lucky lady and I, before. And the young phenom when he was with us. The young phenom and his dad sat in our seats and we sat.
I can imagine the young phenom doing it. Yeah.
He's all about that.
Yeah. So you're swag surfing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's good to know.
I got a fantastic picture of one of the fireworks going off after one of the touchdowns from the East Side Club.
Okay. Cool.
So that was kind of a
Christmas card worthy.
No, not really.
No. Okay.
I mean,
how are fireworks not Christmas card?
Yeah, they are. But I mean, there's no picture of me and the lucky lady in it too. I mean, she was off talking.
That's rich.
But anyway, I was telling what is telling Taj's dad, and I said, you guys know this because it was his whole family there, because we recognized each other, and we just we had met last year, and I said, hey, you remember me? He was like, yeah, you're the radio guy. I'm like, yeah, and so we were just talking. I said, I was watching Taj through my binoculars, and just his movements, like with his head and his eyes and his body. I mean, he does so much work after he gets the ball in his hands to get those extra yards. It's amazing just to watch him.
Just think what would happen if his offensive line would block.
Well, he busted out a couple of long runs, on Saturday.
Yeah, I think it was a good day for the offensive line as far as compared to others. Again, I want you to be that offensive line that's like, hey, man, here's what we're going to do, and we're going to do it, and we're just going to blow people over, but they're just not great in short yardage situations. But, I mean, it's hard to say they didn't do well when you have a guy rushing for 172 yards.
Yeah, and I don't think they did. I think Barron got sacked once. Is that right? I think so.
I don't even remember. I could believe that.
Yeah, so, I thought
Barron was. I thought his pocket presence was really good on Saturday. He stepped up in the pocket nicely a few times when he needed to. He was able to escape out and throw the ball away. He looked comfortable back there and in control, and then he was accurate throwing the football too. So I thought a lot of what we saw from Barron, I think you could probably say for both of those, both the offensive line and Morton, that was their best day this year.
Here is Coach Joey McGuire on Barron Morton's performance after the ball game.
He just keeps getting better. He's making some really good decisions. We had some checks tonight that were really big. I think he's getting, really had a couple big runs too, that he feels really comfortable. I think he feels really good. And so he's doing some things, and I think he'll just continue to do that, the better. But I do think the one thing right now, he's operating in a really high level as far as seeing the field, seeing what we want him to do with the ball. I mean, if you go back, there's one drive that we have to kick the field goal. We dropped 3 balls. One of them was a touchdown, and you catch any of those balls, we probably score, but you don't drop the one, going in. I mean, that's a touchdown, and all 3 balls were catchable balls. He put it on them, and, it happens. That's football. You're going to drop balls. You're going to, we got to go to what's next. But he was really throwing the ball well tonight, because I think he was, so he was 19 to 29. So you take those 3 right there, and, he's even in a better position.
That's Joey McGuire after the ball game on Saturday night. So, yeah, he wasn't sacked at all. And so we had talked about it, that was, a concern coming into the ball game, that defensive line, offensive line. I think you said on Optimum Game Day Live, and maybe even during the week last week, just don't get dominated. I don't think they got dominated at all along that offensive or defensive line.
No, I think they were. I think their offensive line. I mean, you didn't put much pressure on their quarterback. You didn't put. Their guy had all sorts of time to find open receivers. So maybe on the other side of the ball, as far as with your defensive line, I would say their offensive line won the day there. Mm-hmm. Okay, again, they scored 41 points. So, but
now their rushing attack wasn't what I thought was going to be with the quote unquote NFL offensive linemen that they had. Yeah, but they could definitely pass block pretty well.
And it definitely felt like your offensive line won on that side of the ball.
Yeah. Let's see here. Lots of things from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. We'll get to more of those. But first, Jamie's question of the day is next on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
Maybe, maybe not is a good way to put this, Chuck. Because as you were saying that, we'll continue later. I was thinking to myself, well, we might be continuing now.
Yeah.
But that's up to you guys, to be completely honest with you.
Okay.
I'm going to steal a quote from our good friend, the co-host of the Saturday Morning Quarterback, Nick Long.
Nick Long, okay.
Here's the question today. Mm-hmm. In this wild and woolly Big 12 football conference that is absolutely entertaining, and I have no idea what is going to happen in week to week, I'm going to ask you to do the impossible.
Okay.
And tell me who you think is going to be in the Big 12 championship game.
Okay. So right now, I think a big candidate is BYU.
Let me add a second question to it.
Okay.
Of the undefeated teams, which ones do you feel are the most likely? So it might be the part of your first answer.
Okay. Well, I really thought K-State and Oklahoma State were going to be the top 2 teams in the Big 12, but I mean, K-State still maybe has a chance, and maybe Okie State too, but they're 0-2, but not for the purpose of this discussion, because they're down there at the bottom with Baylor, Houston, and Kansas, another team that folks thought was going to be in the hunt, and they're not in the hunt by any stretch of the imagination. I think, you know what, man, you're going to hate this answer, but I think at this point, if you were to ask me of the teams that are undefeated, and based on the style of play, quality of play, kind of the total team, I think it's BYU and Colorado that are going to play in the Big 12 championship game at this point in time.
Okay, so as part of Chuck's question, there's 3 2-0 teams in the Big 12, and only one of them is not going to make the Big 12 championship game. Yeah. And it's the Red Raiders. That's kind of sad.
Well, I know, but I mean, you're asking me to be honest.
I didn't say it was wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's sad.
No, it is.
Yeah.
It is sad. Yeah. I mean, usually I get accused of being a homer, and not for once in my life I was
accused, or it's just pointed out.
Oh, both. Both.
I would be disappointed if somebody doesn't consider me a homer for Texas Tech.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean,
so it's not the worst thing to be called.
No, it's not the worst.
Like you would bear that banner far.
That's right. I expect that.
So I'm going to answer your second part of your question first. The undefeated teams that I think have a chance to be in the Big 12 championship game, BYU and Arizona.
Okay.
Who I think is still going to be in it. And this is contrary to what we've seen some evidence of this year, though. I'm still going Utah and Kansas State. I still think that they're the ones that are going to get it done at the end of the year.
That's crazy talk, Jeff.
It is.
All right. My answer is Kansas State and Utah.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Utah's a completely different team when they have Cam Rising in their quarterback.
So is he going to be back this next week?
I don't know, but Zach Wilson's little brother's not very good.
Yeah.
Just like his older brother, Zach.
Not very good.
Also not very good. He was good in college. I think they're the best two teams. I know they each have a loss. Mm-hmm. Kansas State's was shocking. Utah's was a bit surprising, right? But I think Arizona, the week off looked like they were, chomping at the bit to get back after it after an embarrassing game against Kansas State. And you have to remember that game against Kansas State was a non-conference game. So they are 1-0 in conference play. But yeah, I still think when it's all said and done, they're going to be the best team. And I'll also tell you, when it's all said and done, I don't know. I think Oklahoma State's way better than 0-2, but boy, their offense doesn't look very good right now.
Yeah, anemic.
I don't think they'll get back in the hunt, but I don't think they're finishing in the back half of the Big 12. They'll be middle of the pack or better probably.
How about Iowa State?
Yeah, I think Iowa State and Arizona, when it comes to undefeated teams, I probably would pick Arizona as the undefeated team that I think has the best chance to be there. I do not think BYU or Colorado or the Red Raiders at 2-0 are going to be in the Big 12 championship game. Iowa State was up 3-0 with like 2 minutes left in the third quarter against Houston.
This is crazy.
How about Houston not scoring a point for 2 straight weeks?
In Big 12 play.
In Big 12
play. That's super fun. I bet you Cougar 97-3 is a blast today.
I bet so, yeah.
Actually, they don't have one. Nobody cares, right, Jeff?
They don't. They went who? Oh, no, I thought the Astros play on Tuesday. What are you talking about? That's
Texas,
Houston we're talking
Texas
about.
won?
Yeah, that's all they care about right now. And the Astros. Iowa State got a...
I just can't buy into the Cyclones. I've been burned too many times that, they're the dark horse to win the Big 12. Look how good these guys are. And they finished 6-6 or 7-5. They're one game better or one game worse than the Red Raiders have been. And it's been a constant thing with them that they could be 3-0 at this point in Big 12 play. And I still wouldn't put them in that category because I'm not buying it.
They get a touchdown with 2:12 left in the third, and then they get a field goal at 11:39 in the fourth and a touchdown at 5:39 in the fourth. So in the last 16 minutes and some change, they scored 17 points. Iowa State did.
Yeah.
Of the game.
So how many teams, Chuck, do you think have a legitimate chance? So you put BYU and Colorado in there that I don't have them having a chance.
Have a chance. Well, I agree with you on Utah and Kansas State. I think they still have a chance.
I'm not ready to count out UCF yet.
What in the world was that?
That's a mess. That was a mess.
Yeah, I'm going Iowa State, Arizona, K-State, and Utah.
I'm still going to include. I'm still going to include the two that I picked, Colorado, BYU.
Yeah.
I'll include Iowa State, Arizona, and K-State and Utah. And then my question back to you would be like, okay, so what would Texas Tech have to do for you to think that they still have a shot at a Big 12 appearance in the championship game?
I definitely could start with winning on Saturday.
Yeah, that's the first thing.
And Sunday.
Right.
And Sunday.
Sunday, going into Sunday.
Yeah, because if you just win on Saturday, you could be up by 10 at halftime.
Right.
You got to win Sunday too.
Going to kind of finish the task there. But yeah, I think that'd be a big start because
that would be a road win against a team we think has a chance to win the Big 12.
Yep.
And that would change that narrative.
Prove to me that you can score on the road.
I do think they're playing better. I do think they're still, and I think they have the capability.
3 straight games at home, yeah.
Well, I understand, but I think they still have the capability of playing better too. I don't think this team has peaked.
I would agree.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Public sports station, Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com. With Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire, I'm Chuck Heinz, come to you from the First United Bank studio. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line, also the Visual Edge IT hotline. It's open too for you. We'll have the Cowboy Hour. It's a Victory Monday because they won last Thursday. So that'll be at 6 o'clock tonight. And it's always a good listen. So I don't know who the featured Cowboy is tonight, but Brad Sham and his co-host do, I think, great job of just talking and humanizing these folks, which I think is important to do, because they're not just ball players; they're people too. Okay. They're not just ball. I mean, seriously. Mm-hmm. I mean, they've got backstories, and usually it's a story of overcoming some kind of adversity, or whether it's physical or mental, or just financial, or just all those kinds of things. And I'm always fascinated with people's story. I think I love hearing about kind of how they got from here to there. Okay.
So what you're saying is, and I don't disagree with you, but I want to make sure I'm getting it right, that the voice of the Dallas Cowboys and his partner are good at talking.
Yeah.
Chuck's just wishing he could say the same thing about the morning drive.
I think we're pretty good at talking.
I don't disagree.
I don't
disagree.
I'm not sure the content.
But Jeff said Brad Sham and his partner are good at talking.
They are.
And I'm saying you're wishing the morning drive was the same way. Chuck Hine is good at talking, but he's got a partner that maybe not so much.
No, you bring sense to our conversations. Okay?
Which sense? Is it his sixth sense?
Seventh.
No, your sixth or seventh. You didn't say you had a seventh.
He brings Jamie sense to it. Okay? Which is something
and he's on the dollar.
I do not have Jamie sense. So we'll have the Cowboy Hour at 6. We'll have High School Fan Zone at 7 on 100.7 The Score. Coaches from Coronado and Estacado trying to figure it out right now with their respective teams. And then the Lions and the Seahawks tonight with Monday Night Football on Double T 97.3 at 7 o'clock. I really don't care for these Monday night doubleheaders. I think it waters it down. It takes away from what could be better games on Sunday. But it
drives me nuts that there are not two doubleheaders on Sunday. Aren't there usually just one station has one game and the other has two?
Yeah, that's been that way for
why?
years. I know it's stupid.
Why?
Because they're worried that they'll cannibalize the NFL viewer.
Yeah, we're going to put two games on Monday night.
Right.
How about we take the other Monday night game and put it on television? I just want an option of which game I want to watch.
Yeah, because I got to be honest, these two games right here, Titans and the Dolphins, Seattle and Detroit, I guess if the Seahawk Lion game was on, I might watch that game because I like watching Detroit. I don't have a problem with the Dolphins, but man, they are injured right now, and the Titans are just awful. I did watch. We went back to back yesterday at my house. I did watch the Texans and the Jaguars. That Houston team's fun to watch. C.J. Stroud is
he's really good.
He's really, really good. Mm-hmm. They had the roof open at Reliant yesterday, or NRG, or whatever they're calling it now. Partly because the hurricane that came through blew off part of the roof of that thing.
It's a bad deal.
And they still haven't gotten it fixed because it's probably complicated. So they can't close it.
For?
Well, the parts to come in. That was back in July. And so they had the roof open yesterday in Houston.
You know what my favorite thing now is on the roads? When I'm driving somewhere and I see a big sign put up by the highway folks that say, damaged guardrail.
Okay.
How about fix it?
They try to get to it as quick as they can.
We put a sign up that says it's damaged. How about we fix it?
How about we fix 19th Street?
They can put the sign up right after the accident. They're not carrying around guardrails.
But you see them there for weeks on end.
They're up there way too long. Yeah. There's no art. But they can put the sign up to warn you, hey, right after the accident happens. They can't fix it immediately after.
Yeah.
It takes a little bit of time.
Yeah.
They're not walking around with a guardrail going, where do we need to put this today, Chief?
Right.
Well, let's get one. It seems like, I mean, you put a guardrail in a certain spot for a reason, right?
See,
because it's dangerous for somebody to. So you would think that'd be priority.
See, I could see Jamie being the supervisor of the road crew, and somebody coming up to him and go, "Hey, boss, what do you want this one?" And you'd be like standing right in front of the damaged one, like, "How about right here?"
Yeah, I mean, there's a hole there. How about there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about right there? How about right there? We fix that. So, and then watch the Chiefs and. The San Diego Superchargers, they were wearing some powder blues. Man, their uniforms looked really sweet. The Chargers uniforms looked really sweet. Then they got off to a really good start. Mahomes throws an interception and takes out Rashee Rice, who's probably, my guess is he's going to be done for the year because it looked like some kind of severe knee injury that's going to require surgery.
Pretty sure I saw ACL.
ACL, yeah. I mean, they're going to have an MRI today.
Yeah, I don't think that's what the thought is, but it hasn't, it hasn't been. It's not done
official.
yet.
Yeah. And here's the other thing. They said this when Mahomes gets down 10-0, he's like now 11-0 on the season in his career. I mean, he's just the Chiefs played horrible in the first quarter, and then. The Chargers weren't much better in the second. They had like 2 yards of offense in the second quarter.
Oh, yikes!
Yeah, two yards. Xavier Worthy was fantastic, including a 54-yard bomb that he caught and it truly was a bomb. I mean, it was Mahomes like throwing the ball high in the air downfield, and it's like his longest touchdown pass since December of 22. So anyway, the Chiefs won, and then I watched.
It truly was a bomb.
It truly was a bomb.
Somehow.
Well, I mean,
he's still alive.
Well, like last week, I'd used the word bomb, and it was incorrect. It was like a 2-yard throw and an 80-yard catch or something like that.
Okay, yeah, I think I remember that now.
Yeah. So that was my bad. And I said, "Hey, throws a bomb," and Jamie's like, "No, yeah, he threw it 5 yards and he ran 56." But yeah. And then I tried to watch the Sunday night game. I did. I watched till halftime. But, man, I don't think I'd want to play Baltimore right now. I think Baltimore, they looked really good against the Bills.
As a Cowboys fan, you don't. Nah.
35-10. And
Derrick Henry just scored again against the Cowboys. He went back a week and scored again.
Derrick Henry had an 87-yard run in that ball game.
Longest run in Baltimore Ravens history.
But not Derrick Henry's longest run.
But not his longest run.
Yeah, he has a 99-yarder in his career. And he was playing for Tennessee. All right, we'll get to more Red Raider football next year this morning on the Morning Drive.
This has been the Morning Drive podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.